This YCN segment is brought to you by LaValley Building Supply and Middleton Building Supply.
Welcome in, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, and joining me this week in studio, Rob Taylor, Executive Director of the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce. Rob, thanks for coming back.
Great to be here, as always.
And it's a great time to be here. Football getting started, only a few weeks away. Obviously, Patriots having their first preseason game. Red Sox continuing to dominate. We'll talk about some Patriots and some other, the NFC and some other divisions in a little bit, but let's start with the Red Sox. I mean, can you believe this? One loss in the month of August. Obviously, that sweep of the Yankees a few weeks ago, winning again last night. I mean, they can't do any wrong right now.
Having an absolute monster year. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch them. It's great. It's a great time to be a Red Sox fan. So I'm really excited. The season here as we come to the close. It's interesting. All-Star break was shifted a little bit,
right?
So it wasn't
not exactly
kind of a
in the
half
middle,
a year.
yeah.
So the second half, so to speak, is actually not going to be half. It's going to be faster. But watching the game last night, they won 2-1 with Porcello.
Yeah.
Putting on an absolute clinic, even hitting a double.
Yes, early double in the second or third inning.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at for the next a month and a half or so.
Yeah, about 6 weeks.
Is they've got to do a real good job of giving guys the right amount of rest.
Right, yeah.
But not sitting them so much that they're not ready to go.
Yeah.
I point to last year, Benintendi would be an example. Last year, he seemed to sort of fade off at the end of the year. He had a great beginning of the season, and it seemed like he was either fatiguing or something was happening. And he's still having a monster year, so it's going to be up to Cora to try to get these guys just the right blend of rest and participation so that they don't get rusty.
Yep.
But with a 10-game lead over the Yankees, we're in a really good situation.
Yeah, and the 10-game lead in the division, plus almost an 11-game lead for the number one spot, because the Astros, their closest competitor, who's a division leader, is even further back than the Yankees. So they basically, you don't want to say it's basically wrapped up, but this number one seed, you just want to stay healthy, get that pitching rotation kind of lined up going into that last week of the season, make sure everybody gets their rest. Chris Sale doesn't need to, the other night he pitched, or the other day, Sunday, he was cruising, but they had a pitch count. They wanted to hold him, and they did a great job also getting Erod back healthy. So basically, you're right. It's the rest, but participation and keeping guys healthy, because at this point, it's really all you have to worry about.
Yeah, in the theater, they call it hitting your marks. I think it's basically the Red Sox got to hit their marks going from here to the end of the season. They certainly have the talent, and they've got the momentum. It's been, like I said, it's been a thriller of a year for Red Sox fans. It's every morning when you open up the paper, it's fun to read the box score and just see what this lineup is capable of. And when they're putting it all together, I think they've really got a good shot this year. It's obviously going to come down to those sort of little finer details. Do they have everybody right? Do they have the pitching rotation set just right when it counts?
Right, and that's the biggest thing, because as we talked about before, if they don't do anything in the playoffs, in the postseason, this kind of season, it's not a waste, but it's a big disappointment. And a couple of the players who are going to go a long way towards bringing that championship, Mookie Betts and J.D. Martinez, continue to hit the cover off the ball every day. One of them's hitting a home run or getting a big double or whatever. One of them's going to win the MVP, I think, because Mike Trout is now injured. Doesn't look like he's going to get as much playing time. Who's the leader in the clubhouse, so to speak, for MVP?
For me, it's Mookie.
Okay, I agree.
I think JD has had an absolute monster year. What a pickup he's been. He's been an absolute pleasure to watch. But in terms of sort of all around, really sort of changing the paradigm or really setting the new standard for ball players, it's Mookie, man. He is. I mean, if you could design the ultimate player, I think he's kind of what you end up with. By the way, did you know he's an absolute unbelievable bowler?
Yes.
My son told me that the other day. The guy can throw a perfect game.
He's bowled a perfect game, yeah.
I think he's done it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So he's just an all-around stud.
Exactly, and the fact that he's the leadoff hitter, and Cora said at the beginning of the year they're going to put Betts in the leadoff spot, and he's going to stay there no matter how hot he is, no matter how cold he is. I think that's done really well for him and for the team. And I mean, I know not to take anything away from J.D. Martinez, but Betts plays the outfield every day. He plays a stellar defense. Offensively, almost every category, they're right there. JD has more home runs and more RBI, but other than that, Mookie's right there. So, not to take anything away from JD, but it does seem like sometimes, I know it's hard to say this, but Mookie gets overshadowed. He is an all-around stud. So
Absolutely.
it's a great season. We've got a few more weeks here, and obviously they'll have to set that pitching rotation and get things lined up. We'll talk about that more down the road. But next, after we take a break, we're going to talk some Patriots. First preseason game. They got another one coming up, and who's going to make the cut at wide receiver and maybe running back. We'll take a break. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.